So welcome, this is the Trade Ally update and training from August 9th, 2017. I am Bill Eckman, the Energy Advisor and Trade Ally Manager for the PNM Multifamily Energy Efficiency Program. And today we're looking at the new online application for the program, which allows us to put in rebate reservations, rebate requests, get signatures, submit documentation, all sorts of fun stuff. So let's see what we've got to work with here. Since early this year, we've been talking about moving to an online application with the eventual goal of moving everything to an easily accessible web tool. You know, we've said things like no more paper forms, faster reservation processing, all retrofits integrated into one place in calculation, and no more separate Trade Ally lighting calculator. And today we get to announce that, well, we've not accomplished all of those things, but we have definitely gotten a good way to hitting those first two and a good start on the others. So, you know, this is going to be evolving over the course of the year as we add more capabilities, as we incorporate more of the steps that we're taking in these processes, as we get to the point where it incorporates everything and we don't have to have the Trade Ally lighting calculator anymore. You know, in all, the PNM Multifamily online application promises easier project submissions, quicker customer approvals, signatures. You know, there's even been rumor that it may even cure seasonal affective disorder. I'm not quite so sure about that one, but you know, what we'll do is focus today on how it works, how it can make the reservation and request processes easier, you know, and really take a look at this thing so we can start using it. Now, the online application is readily available on pnmmultifamily.com. I actually just have a small screen capture up there that you can see. This is down on the Trade Ally page, and we'll navigate to that shortly. By using it, we can start, save, and recall rebate reservations. We can convert reservations into requests. We can upload backup documentation, like the Trade Ally lighting calculator, project photos, spec sheets, invoices, or other pertinent project documents. Submissions automatically request approval from the property contact, and you can quickly turn a reservation into a rebate request with a simple link. But rather than just talk about it, you know, let's actually try this thing out. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on here, see if it launches my web browser like I expected, and it did, and it brought us over to pnmmultifamily.com. So we're Trade Allies, so let's go to the Trade Allies page. And when we scroll down to the bottom, we find things like rebate reservation and rebate request form. It says paper form here, so that's the old paper form that we used to use, but these actually take us right to the online tool. So what I want to do here is take a moment to back into my session, my presentation here, to make sure we hit everything that we want to see here. So made it to the link. What I'm actually going to do is click on this rebate reservation form, and I'm going to go ahead and make this into one of my favorites. So I'm going to add it to favorites here, and this is going to be my PNM Multifamily rebate reservation form. And so now I'm using Internet Explorer, but any web browser that you have will have an option for favorites. And now I've got it right here. And so when I click on it, it brings me to this page. So now I've got it says, hey, you know, if you already have an account, log in. Let's say I don't. So I'm just going to submit for somebody else, and it's going to go, well, wait a second. Before you start filling out this application, you got to have an account. You know, if you're doing it on behalf of someone else, which as a Trade Ally, that's what you would be doing. You're putting in this rebate reservation on behalf of some other, some customer. So I'm going to go ahead and create an account. Why not? So company name, there we go, PNM. You put in whatever your company name is here. And I'm just putting in some information, and I'm going to go ahead and send this to my TRC account. So it'll use that email address to contact me about things, to send me notifications, stuff like that. And it'll actually be my login as well. I'm going to give it a password here so that no one else can just hop into my account and start doing stuff. And now I've got an account, and now I can, go ahead and start submitting one for someone. Why don't I do that? So I'm going to submit something. I'm going to give it some information here. So what this is going to do is this opening page here, as I'm creating my first rebate reservation, it's going to use this email address to send out confirmation emails to your customer. So when I submit this rebate reservation, it's going to send an email to this email address and say, hey, so-and-so's just put a rebate reservation in for you. Here are the terms and conditions. If you agree, and yes, you wanted them to do that, then all you got to do is respond to this email, and that will work as their signature. So no more chasing people down to get signatures on forms and scanning them and sending them to us and stuff like that. No messing around with a PDF and creating a digital signature. They can actually just do it right through here. So I'm going to go ahead and give it some information to work with. Now let's call this, just call this Bill's Apartments. And I can also say, how they heard about it. Did I do it, or did they find out from someone else, or was it a referral? I'm not going to put anything in there for now and just let it go. It will not let me do exactly the same as my other address, but that's okay. So I'm going to use another email address I happen to have. Let's use that. Okay, so now it's let me into the reservation form, and we got a little ahead of ourselves. It already says 2018, but it's valid for all reservations going forward. And if you scroll through it, what you'll find is it looks a lot like the rebate reservation form, except there's more detail in here. Now, it's not going to require everything in here, but it's going to have spots for things that we're going to need during the rebate request process. And it's going to total things up at the bottom for us and actually automatically generate an email when we submit this. So there's a couple things to keep in mind. Save, you've got to hit save, or it will not automatically save it. And at some point, I believe it's 30 minutes of working on this, it will time out. So be sure to save it so that you have it in there. Once we've got everything in here, then submittals, signatures will all become available. Once we've put in our signatures, the trade ally, and hit submit, then it will send out the request to the property of, here's what someone submitted for you, here are the terms and conditions, and reply yes to agree. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to hit save here. I want to see, it's going to tell me all of the items that I've got to fill in. I do need this information. As we move forward, what we're going to find is we're going to be able to copy prior reservations and things like that, and so we would have a lot of this information in there. I'm just going to fill some of these in. Let's say there's 100 units there, and 20 of them are low-income units, and we're at 1, 2, 3, First Street, and not here, New Mexico. And that zip code is 88000. And I've got, 4 buildings on this property, and they're 2 floors each. Now let's see, I've got a community room, I've got lighted parking. Again, this should look very, very similar. To what you've seen in the paper copy. So all the same stuff, project contact information, all these things that we were used before, and it automatically defaulted to a trade ally here because we're filling this out for someone else. It's going to assume that we're a trade ally and we're putting this in place. Let's see. And remember, it's going to use that email that we put in on the first page to contact this property. Let's see. Let's say we're going to start this project tomorrow, and we're going to finish it in 14 days. I know it's a little boring watching me type this stuff in. We added scope, customer name was. So this is the stuff right off the PNM bill. And again, if you have any questions, comments, things like that, as I'm filling these in quick, please feel free to jump in. Now, notice it didn't turn the utility rate ID yellow, saying that, hey, you've got to fill this in. We've made some major improvements in that process, and so now, if you have it, great. If not, we're able to look that up. But we do need the billing account number. We don't necessarily need a PNM bill anymore, as long as you give us a valid account number. So I'm going to go ahead and put in an account number that fits the requirements there, and so we would be able to use that to validate this project, and make sure that they are that it matches up with the address that's going to be retrofitted. That matches, we're able to verify everything with just a valid billing account number. However, if you don't have that and you would rather give us a PNM bill, we can work with that too. But we do need a value in here. It's not going to let us submit. So I want them to contact me. My company, my address is 321 2nd Street, also in Not Here, New Mexico, and my email address. So contractor license, because you're a trade ally, we should already have that information, but if you want to fill that in. And there's also a spot to put in this additional email, so that if there's anyone else you want copied on the correspondence about the project, stuff like that, you can add them in here. I'm gonna put down Colleen. All right, and so we've got all that, and brings me down to be able to fill in stuff like my direct install or my direct sale stuff, all the trade ally things here. We do have the rate corrected now for the exterior site lighting and so on. let's just make this simple. We're going to do 500, LED lamps, direct install on this property, and I'm going to do 10 of these site exterior pole fixtures. I would normally have that up here under Trade Ally from the calculator, but I'm just going to toss it down in here for our purposes anyway. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And so now it's happy. I've got everything in there. It's calculated out my low income boost. It's calculated out my total rebate. And so I am ready to move on with this. So I've hit next page, and here's submittals. Here's where if I already have a customer has signed off on on maybe a paper rebate reservation or something like that, I can upload that file. I can upload the PNM bill. Any spec sheets that I want to include, I can upload them now, and they will be assigned to this reservation, to this project, and follow along all the way through. If I've got the Trade Ally lighting calculator, I can upload that. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and grab the basic Trade Ally lighting calculator, and I would recommend that you upload the proper one, except it did not find my. That's the first time I've had it where it could not find my something on my desktop. But I'm going to cancel those for now, and I'm just going to complete the application. So I've tried to break this all through this week thus far and had been unable to. Now that I'm trying to upload one here, it's not going to let me. So that's okay. I'm going to come back here. Now it's asked me for that because I have a Trade Ally lighting over here. Alright, so now we should be good. Complete our application. In order to complete it, I'll have to sign it. So it's basically my digital signature here. Since it's my login and it's my information that's been put in here, and I've got the terms and conditions, and when I hit submit, now it's going to take that and it's going to generate this generate an email that it will send to the account that I gave it. So first things I'm going to take a look at here is we should have gotten a registration. So this is the link for all of the projects, basically my portal for the account that I've created in the online application. So what I'm actually going to do with this is end up using it and saving it as a favorite as well, so that I can just access my portal. I don't have to start with a rebate reservation or rebate request. But also of interest, what I'm going to do is come over here, and we should have gotten it. We should be seeing an email. There we go. So we got an email from multifamily at pnm.com. And what this is going to contain is say, hey, hey, Bill Ekman, Bill's company, the name of the Trade Ally here, has submitted an application for, oh, you can't see that because I have it over on my other screen. Give me a moment, let me pull this over for you to see it. So it came right into my inbox, multifamily at pnm.com here, rebate reservation form. So this is what went to the customer. And it says, okay, dear Bill Ekman, the contact name that we put in there, Bill's company, that would be the Trade Ally name I put in for my company when I created my login, has submitted an application for incentives from the PNM Multifamily Energy Efficiency Program for the project named Bill's Apartments, where it's located, and the table summarizes the improvements and incentives on the application. So it'll detail all the stuff that's been submitted. Please acknowledge your acceptance of these improvements and the program terms and conditions, which there's a link right here for them to see all terms and conditions for the program by replying yes to this email. So when they reply yes, it comes back to us as showing that it's been approved by the customer, and so we can process this reservation accordingly and do it more quickly because we know we have a completed form. They've been able to sign it here in a matter of just reviewing this quick and replying yes, so in a matter of minutes rather than potentially days or weeks as it has been for some situations. And we've got a reservation that we can process and approve. Now getting back to where I was over here, and that is right here. So now I've got that. I can see what the status is. If I go to convert application, what it's going to do is ask me if I want to convert this reservation into a rebate request. And when I hit convert, it's going to take me over to the rebate request with all the information that I had already written in. But now, when I go to save it, it's going to ask me, hey, wait a second, there's more information that you've got to fill out here. Like, hey, you didn't tell us who's getting paid. Are you getting paid or is the customer getting paid? What are the details here? So let's go ahead and payee is mailing address. So I got that, but it's still gonna come up yellow for me. It said, please correct the issues marked below. So what else do I need? Oh, since I've selected this one, I've got to fill in the details to go with it. So let's see what we had. Product manufacturer. Let's say this is Philips. It was a 225-556. And install watts per lamp, so this ended up being a 25 watt LED. We removed a what was 350 watts, and the cost for this retrofit was $1,500. And so there's save at the bottom, there's save at the top. See if there's anything else missed here. And it's saying, wait a second. Are you sure about that account number? That doesn't seem right. And it's not. And so there we go. We've got that account number fixed, and we can get over to submittals. Now I'm probably not going to be able to submit this whole rebate reservation because I'm going to go ahead and hit complete application. It's going to say, wait a second, hold on. Where's the invoice? Where's the spec sheet? And where are the photos? So dependent on what we've selected, on what's going on, it's going to ask for different items in here that need to be included. Invoice, spec sheet, and photos to back up our documentation to show that that's what we've done out here. So that spec sheet for that Philips piece of equipment that I had in there, the invoice to back up that that this has been completed for the property, and the photos, 10% sample of the measures of each measure to show that we've got those done. But allows us to quickly add those in here, sign it again, and then the same thing once we submit that signature goes back to the property, and allows them to quickly approve that and say, yes, we approve this work was done, and we approve that the rebate get paid to the assigned payee, whether that be, in most cases, you, the trade ally. So that was basic process, and we see how everything's integrated here, and it gives us warnings to make sure that we've got everything that we need to quickly be able to process these for you, get them done, and everything's gives us an easy way to keep track of these things and pull them together. But let me get out of this for now. And what if I want to see, what if I want to see all of the projects that I've already done? Well, there's no link here for that. How are we going to do that? Well, if you remember, it sent us that link the first time that we created our account. Let me use this one first, and there it is, Bill's apartment. It's already submitted. I have not, not completed the rebate request yet, so I can still come back in here, convert that to the rebate request, and finish it up. So I'm gonna hop in here again. So one of the tough things that you have is if you don't save appropriately, which I didn't, it did not keep the payee information, the stuff that I entered in. It does not autosave, and that's something to keep in mind. Before you leave a page, be sure you hit save, to keep it in there appropriately. Instead, what I want to do now is I had a different account that I made up before that had some. So I'm gonna go over here, and I created one. Let's see, energy services. So link right here takes me to, should take me to the other login, and it's not. So it must have associated with my computer. This is the first time didn't have two accounts before. Now I have two different accounts, and so let me go ahead and start a new instance of Internet Explorer. And I actually created a shortcut, or created a favorite for that link that says PNM Multifamily Portal. And so it's bringing me to the last one I logged in with, which has all of the, has the projects that I put in there. Instead, I'm going to do something a little bit different here. It still has me logged in. And so I'd have to log out to see those others, but the link does, takes us to that location that has all of the different ones that we have that you've entered in. So from there you can see what's been submitted, what's already been converted to a rebate request, what rebate requests have been submitted, and so on and so forth. If you don't submit it, it will still show it here as started, and so you'll be able to see other ones that you have created. There's additional options here like copy them, so that if you've got a second project at the same site, you can copy that and make the modifications necessary that you need. Just a lot of different options in here for being able to get your rebate reservations in, get them processed more quickly, get things submitted, and not have to go through the paper or the PDF versions and have to transcribe stuff over as much, not have to start over from scratch with your rebate request, and have all that information in there. The more you do on the front end when you submit the reservation, the more that's going to be saved there for you on the back end when you get to your rebate request and already be done for you. So that has basically covered the details of the PNM Multifamily online application. For that first time, remember, just pnmmultifamily.com, and under Trade Allies here, where you could have found your PDF forms before. Now you have your rebate reservation and rebate request. That will take you to the starting point. The first time you get in, it's going to ask you about login, or if you have been away long enough, it'll ask you for your login so that you can create those. But I highly recommend that you use that link that is sent to you on the through that website, or through the Energy Services Automated um, email address, and I would make this a favorite on your, in your web browser, so that you can get right to it. That I named it the portal, so it takes me right to all my projects that I've already put in. When you start a new reservation, start with the rebate reservation form, and once you're logged in, it will associate that with your account. And note that the name and the email address and project name here. Project name is what it's going to name it, as we saw over there. So I had named it Bill's Apartments, and it's going to use the email address and the name that I put in here to be able to contact the customer for this project. All right, so I think I've beat on this enough. This has been the Trade Ally update and training. We're taking a look at the PNM Multifamily Energy Efficiency Program online application that we launched earlier this week. And so now you can do all this stuff online, get it done more quickly, one time, get it saved. Remember to use that save function, and be able to track all your stuff in there quickly. So I already went through that. Again, to convert something to a rebate request, it was the convert application and the convert button there. So have at it, hop in there. It's operational, available, and working. And we look forward to having everybody going in there, submitting their reservations, and this way, Colleen has been working diligently to put people's pending or open reservations in there, and so that when you get to the request, some of this is already done for you to make it easier going forward. And we'll make sure that you get access to those as we go through. So this session we covered pool pump rebate reservations for 2017 and 2018, and the online application. This has been Bill Ekman of the PNM Multifamily Energy Efficiency Program.